independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up! And I have some projects that I'm going to be showing you in the next few days. And today I have a plan to show you how to make these great little triangular pyramid boxes. I think it'd be a great project today and tomorrow if you want to do some St. Patty's Day projects. This could even be great for a treasure hunt where you put a little something in there, or part of a little table decoration as well, or obviously as a gift box for someone special on St. Patty's Day. You will see my bird behind me. She is now drinking water. That is my aviary. It's basically a sunroom where my birds hang out and where you sometimes hear them on my video. I also have some dogs that might be roaming around. I just have two. But anyway, so what happened is Bethany Barnard had a meeting with us. I am part of the downline system of Bethany Barnard's, and she had gone ahead and shown us how to make these boxes. And as soon as I see a box or anything, I want to see if I can make a different size of it. And so that's just kind of my thing. And so I immediately went to work and started saying, why not make it larger and even larger than that? And of course with these, it's a basic, simple set of dimensions. It's 8.5, and when you cut it at 8.5, and then you go ahead and score it at 2, 4, 6, and 8, and then the top part is going to go ahead and be half of the size of this dimension, which is by 2s. So then you score at 1 and 1, and then fold and close. And I will show you how to fold these and how this works specifically for this kind of box if this is what you're looking for. It's fairly simple. It uses the same principles as this. So this was the inspiration, and I wanted a larger box, of course, even than this. I wanted it wider. And so I went to 3 inches, and of course I used 9.5, because if I wanted a 4-sided, I'd have to have a 12.5 sheet of paper, which I don't have. So I went to 9.5, and at 9.5, I could score it every 3 inches to get the 9, and then I folded it exactly the same way you would fold this, but then now it makes a pyramid, punched a hole, tied it together, and there you go. There's a great little St. Patty's Day. All right, so real quick, the DSPs and all the different things that I use to make these. All right, so with this one, of course, this was our Mosaic Mood. This was our Mosaic Mood DSP, and the Honeybee Bundle is what I used here, so that included the dies and the stamps, which is just wonderful. And then of course here I used the from the catalog from the Golden Honey Specialty Designer Series paper that came free with a $50 purchase in the Celebration catalog. All right, and again use the same kind of set for the dies, etc. And then this is just like the other one with the Mosaic Mood DSP. And then this, I use the new Flowering Foils Designer Series paper, and this came in the second Celebration catalog. And this again was purchased with just, if you get it for free for $50. I used the Heart Punch, okay, from the Heartfelt Bundle. I used the Leaf Punch from the basic catalog, which is in the punch section. The Wish on here is from Wishes for Everything from your basic catalog. And I did on the one make a little pot of gold, which was really fun to make, as you can see here. and that I used Beautiful Bouquet. I used the center, the tiny little center for the gold coins, and I went ahead and used the Darling Label Punch Box Punch. So this was a whole kit for making labels. It came with 2 ink spots, a blue and grapefruit, and came with the punch, and I've used that punch all over the place. And I can show you how to do that. That's just taking the punch and just going halfway up with your piece of paper or more and just punching it out, not using the whole punch, and you can make yourself a little pot of gold, which I thought was really cute. All right, and that could be a flower pot as well. So that label punch was really, has been very handy for me. All right, and then we did, right, so I think I've shown you everything of what I used. Here's that punch that I talked about in that Darling Label set with the honeybee bundle that I mentioned. I now go ahead and put the dies along with this. It's a great set. If you can get your hands on it, it's really worth it. Okay, so let's go ahead and start working on our project and showing how you and your family can get together today and tomorrow and make all these wonderful little projects. Included in this will be the dimensions of this simple card that one can make for the St. Patty's Day. And the nice thing about this card is that it simply uses half a sheet of an 8.5 by 11, and you can go ahead and make your 2 cards, and from there easily. All right, so from half a sheet you can make 1 full card. This doesn't have a backing, as you can see, but it does have the flip up here, so you can write your message here and here if you like a longer message and send your card. Also, this is simply, this added on piece is simply 2 3/4 wide by 4 1/4 long, and you just glue it on that 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 sheet of paper, and you're all set to go. Very simple card, using the heart punch again to make that clover leaf. Okay, so here we are. We have found our DSP, and we've gone ahead and scored it already. I want to make sure I not take too much time on this video. So let's go ahead and look at the inch side. And we're going to look at our inches side so that you can see the measurements easily here. And you will see that it's going to be a 9 1/2, okay, by 6. So I'm going to make this one 6. You can literally make it, right here, you can literally make it 7, 8, anything you want, as tall as you like, all right? That is up to you. I decided on this one I was going to make it a 6. I went ahead then and did my scoring, and my scoring, as I told you, was in 3 inches. So on that 9 1/2 side, 3 inches scored, 6 and 9. This is where I'm going to be gluing and cutting that bottom piece off. All right, and so then we turn it around, and whatever this width is here, okay, which is 3 inches, I'm going to make that half that size on this scoring. So that's going to be a 1 1/2, a 1 1/2, and then a 1 1/2 here on both ends. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and turn this around, and I'm going to color it, all right? And I have Shaded Spruce as my green clover leaf, yeah. And I am going to use Garden Green, since those are in the same family. I do not have the Shaded Spruce ink, nor do I have the Garden Green paper. So I looked it up in the book and saw which colors go together, and those are the ones. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you, is I took a sponge and I'm dampening the sponge and then going ahead and making sure that I get that excess liquid out of there, okay? And then I'm going to take my ink, all right, and I'm going to go ahead and dab this into my ink, like so, and then start. Now, the reason I put water in there is because I want it to spread, and I don't want it to get too dark and mess it up. So I really like this method of doing this, and as you see, it's dark enough as it goes, but this will allow me to spread it more easily than if my sponge is dry. And so that'll make it a little more even. And I don't mind that it's not perfectly even in color. That's not my purpose. It's to give it that color. If you want to make it more even, then you need to take more time and make sure that you don't, I'm going to add more water to that sponge. I just went ahead and dab that excess ink off so that it doesn't get too dark, because I really didn't want it too dark. And some of the white paper seems to be coming off, but that's okay. It's all fine. You want to make sure that it's nice and wet. That's it. That's that part. And now we're going to make sure that dries. If I see some spots, I'll hit those spots. But I really don't. I'm really satisfied with that. So I'm going to close this up. I take my sponge and put it back in the water. There you go. I will not need that anymore. Gonna let that dry. Now, as this is drying, I can go ahead and show you what I've done with the heart punch and the green paper. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take the heart felt stamp and use that garden green. And what I did is I went ahead and stamped it, put it on the green paper, and then went ahead and punched it out. But you see here, and I left one more open so that you see, all I did is stamp this onto the green paper and punch it out. And I have one more to punch out, so I'll go ahead and punch that out. Whenever you do the punch, make sure that you go ahead and just do it slowly. Squeeze a little bit so you can rotate it and center it better. I always squeeze them a little bit so that I get a good position that I'm happy with. Take your time, just like I did, and then punch it out. And so, of course, your clover is going to now have your 3 pieces, all right? And then what I'm going to do is I am going to use the leaf punch, and I'm going to cut out my leaf with the punch, and I'll just go ahead and go down here. And all I need is one. So I'll just punch that out. And there you go with that one. And so now I'm done with the green paper, except to make my label. Now what I did with this, and I'm going to show you this, while this is drying still, so we don't waste any time, I'll put this to the side. I used my Whisper White stamping ink pad. You get this dry, and then you get the ink, and then you slowly apply the ink. It is like paint. It is fairly sticky, but it dries a lot clearer. So I just wanted to show you that you might have to teach yourself a little bit how to work with it. See, this one's better. So I actually stamped off twice. So my ink pad was pretty thick. And so what I did is I went ahead and made the luck of the Irish go double for you. I went ahead and put that on the white ink pad. Then I went ahead here and stamped off, then stamped off here to check it out, and then stamped off again. So twice stamping off before I got what I like. Let it dry. It does take some time to dry. And then, it'll come out real nicely. As you can see in this, I'm going to use this one for my other card probably that I'm going to show you. So anyway, so I got 2 of these done, and then we're going to cut them eventually, but that's going to be towards the end to see how we want to place them and where we want to place them. Okay, probably my paper is dry. Not quite yet. So we'll wait a little longer, and I'll show you how to go ahead and build your pot of gold. A black paper, and what I'm going to do is simply take that punch from that Darling Label punch set, and I'm just gonna go pretty much, I'm just gonna go however far I think. I made my pot pretty big last time, and I went up to, as you see here, I went up to that very end part, and that seems like a good part to go to. You can make it shorter if you like, and there is your pot. All right, and then I went ahead, once that's done, I went ahead and hole punched with the 1-inch hole punch. I punched out a circle, and I'm going to glue that on after I go ahead and put my little gold in there. I'm going to use crushed curry. Of course, if you have the gold Delicata ink, that is perfect. But since it's not on sale anymore, it's Stampin' Up! Right now, I'm going to go ahead and use the crushed curry. The crushed curry is almost like gold. It really is. So I'm going to take this from the stamp set that I showed you earlier. And you can see it's a very small little inside of a flower. And I'm going to go ahead and start stamping this all over, as you can see. Just going to stamp it all over, covering all the surface. I wouldn't leave anything open. I think that's probably enough. Mix my gold. And then I'm going to just glue that on there. And there's my little pot of gold. And now I'm going to glue this on here. Of course, I'm going to use my glue here. Just a little dab will do you. And then I'm going to choose my side, as I always do when I punch out. I want to make sure I use the nicer side. And then I'm just going to glue that on there. And there's my pot of gold. That'll go on my box. So that's done. So we have our hearts done, we have our little pot of gold, and we have our leaf done. We have all of those all set. What I'm going to do now is, this is probably dry enough, and I'm going to go ahead and burnish those. All right, since that is dry. This is a fairly easy box. It is so much fun and so easy. You can make this with your kids. this evening or tomorrow, whenever you have the time to do a little fun, and then put some treats in there. You can put the gold chocolate money in there. That'll be cute. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just make sure that I folded that well. Okay. Burnish that, it will make it easier if you do. There you go. There you go. All right, so now I'm ready to cut. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut this little 1/2 inch piece off. That's going to be my bottom, right? And then I'm going to cut up these sides. This is the bottom that I'm cutting. Now, what I'm going to do is, because when you fold this, because it's a triangle, these edges come out. So you have to make sure that you go ahead, cut enough off, and go to that corner. That corner is important, of course. So you go from the outside into the corner. See, you get that kind of a triangle. I'm going to do that on all of them. And don't be afraid to cut too much. When I cut, I think I went beyond almost, these aren't my inches, so I went 3/4 of an inch in. So, because that, yeah, 3/4 of an inch in is what I do. So that's pretty, those are pretty big. All right. And I might still have to take more in. Now, the next thing I do is I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece down. And I'm going to use my Tombow glue, as I did before. I'm going to go ahead and put my glue right there. And then I'm going to go and put this down. And the way I do that is this way, making sure my edges meet, and the paper is supple enough that you can actually just pinch it right here, make sure it glues well while you're doing. It's great. And there you go. Make sure it glues well. That Tombow really sets up fast, which is great. Now, you're going to fold this down. You're going to decide. Now, of course, you can always cut a triangle out of different paper and make the bottom different. That is always a possibility if you don't like your bottom. But many times I find if I study before I fold down that how I want it folded, I like what I show. So for example, this for me is fine. That looks fine. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue this one down first, this one, then finally this one. So I'm just checking out what would look the nicest. I could check, see if this looked even better. But now I like this one the best. All right. And I see that I could even cut that a little bit more, which I'm going to do just a little bit, so then it'll be perfectly fitting into that triangular space as you see that. Okay, so let's start gluing that down. That'll take a few minutes, or a few seconds actually. So, I did say that one, and then that, yes. Yes, that's the one I wanted. And then here, I'm going to do it this way. A lot of times, I'll also glue that last flap down. Okay, put that glue in there. I'm going to take that and take my bone folder. And just go ahead and make sure that's done. So I got my edges done. I got my bottom done. I'm almost done with my box. That's how quick and easy it is. It'd be a great project. All right, so now this part. It's not as bad as it seems at first. What you want to do is you want to, as we did this side and glued that one side, which side's glued? I believe it's this side. You know, the paper is flexible. Okay, it's malleable. So that means that if I want to bend an edge, I'm going to push it down and I'm going to bend it, or fold it, I should say. I'm going to fold it so that it meets that edge of that score line at that 1.5. I'm going to take my time, okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my bone folder, and then I'm going to flip it to the other side and do it to the other side. This is important. This gives the whole product, the top, flexibility, and you definitely want to do that, okay? So I'm going to do that on each edge. So again, here, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to make sure I get it down to that score line, that 1.5 score line, and then I'm going to go ahead and do this and do that to get a nice point, and then I'm going to fold it the other way around, making sure that I'm getting there. There you go. Yeah. And then now the last one. Just take your time. Try to get it as far down as you can. Use that bone folder. And do the other side, just the same way. You need that flexibility in that top. So now what we have, okay, so you see how I flattened it, it's fine. Papers definitely can do that. Okay, so now what happens is the corners go in. It's the corners, and then, so it's the corners. All 3 corners have to go in. That's what's going in, okay? Now, there you go. There it is, okay? There it is. Now, you're going to put a hole punch in and I have a hole punch, and what I do is I'm going to make sure that I go down 1.5 on each in the center. So this is going to be, let's look how that looks. So where do I want that hole? I want that hole in these tips, right here one, right here one, right here one, okay? So there's my dog. So I want it right here in these center pieces. So 1, 2, and 3, all right? So I'm gonna go down 1.5. In the center, I'm gonna go down about 1.5 squares down. I just wanna make sure I have enough room so I don't tear the paper. And so since I know that I went down 1.5 there, that little piece, and then 1, obviously I can count here. Go in the center again and just go right on that line and put your hole in there. There. And then there again. And the half piece. There you go. Now I use my pick tool, which I absolutely love, because that hole is a little bit too small, but I didn't want too big of a hole. So now I can use my tool and make my hole exactly the size that I want so that I can pass my cord through. And I did use the standard white baker's twine, and I colored it with the garden green ink. There you go. My holes are good. My phone is going crazy, but we'll see what's going on. And okay, so I took my baker's twine, and it was white, and I took my garden green, and I took a dry sponge, okay, and went ahead and dabbed this on here, and then went ahead and dabbed that ink on there. It does take a little time, and but it does work. And you just go ahead and just take your twine and just go ahead and go through the whole process, just like that. And as you see, I can make it nice and dark and green, so it is perfect for St. Patty's Day. Okay. Oh, I see a little sequence here. All right, so that's pretty good. All right, so this was dry, not wet like the other one. Okay, so now I'm gonna put in the string later. We're gonna go ahead and work on our embellishments. You can choose whatever side you like. I'm gonna go ahead and use this side. Doesn't really matter which side you use. And the way I'm going to do this, all right, gonna move that away, move that away, move that away. My corners are done, move that away. And now I go ahead and take this, I'm gonna put it on this side, my little pot of gold. And if you want to decorate the pot, you can do so in any fashion that you like. In my last one, I did use Delicata Gold, but I'm not going to use that right now since I'm not sure everybody can even get it. So I'm just going to leave mine black for right now. Again, I'm going to take my Tombow and I am going to glue it on. Some people might want to use a dimensional. I'm going to go ahead and glue it on. So this is going to be my front side. So I'm just going to put it on the right side, just like there. It's going to be real cute. So there's my little pot of gold. All right. And this will, you can put some, to make sure that your box, after pinching it a bit on everywhere, it kind of goes in, but just like these, I did it the same way. It'll come out eventually, and you can stuff something in there, some paper or tissue, to make sure that it does until you're ready to give someone the gift. All right, so anyway, so there we are. I think that's glued on there. Now the hearts. Okay, this is the way I do this. I go ahead and I put this one down and this one down. You don't want to overlap too much because you'll get a bump. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this one down to see where I am. I'm going to use my paper as a guideline. That'll make it easier for me. If I center it right here on my paper, then that will work much nicer for me. Okay, now obviously we have to go down a little bit on those to make it look like a clover. When I always say 4-leaf clover, it's not 4-leaf, it's a tri-clover, tri-leaf clover. But that looks good. So that would be good. Like it actually down further. Yeah, that looks good. Gonna make that even like that, as you see. And then this is gonna go on top. So this can get glued right there, right? glue around a little bit because I want it smeared around. Perfect. So that should keep it all together. And again, some people might use dimensionals. I will not. And as you see, I don't have to worry about gluing every piece to each other because obviously it's going to be glued on here. And I decided to use this side for that. You notice I left that center a little bit open, and there is a reason for that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put that 4-leaf clover right on there. And go ahead and do that. Open it up and press down. Now this one, now remember this one was a 6 total length. This one was bigger than that, right? So this one was a 7. So this one's 7 tall. And then this one was, excuse me, reaching. This one was the 8 tall, because that is 5 plus 3 is 8 tall. So they're all different sizes, any size you like. That's what I love about these things. I love to choose. So you could choose 5.5, you could choose, 6.5, you can choose 7, 7.5, whatever you like, does not matter. So that was mine like that, see? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at this and put this in here. It's kind of why I like to leave the center not glued. We'll see if it worked. So that I can slip it underneath there. We'll see if I did it, or if I can do it. I'm not so sure. Yeah, I can do it a little bit. But so just like that, that's all I'm going to do. And probably try to slip it in there. I'm going to use my pick tool again. Maybe this side will help me push it in there a little bit. Yeah, there you go. That pick tool is so handy. Now what I want, so I want this a little bit on the side because I do not want it to go right there. Now, with the glue in the way it is, that will be enough. I'm going to put some sequins on there that'll glue that down, and so you'll be all set. Now, how do we want to do our words? Well, we have some options with this. So we can go ahead like I did on my one and have the words go from here to here to here to cut it. We can go ahead and just make it go like this on the side. We can also cut it and make it a 3-piecer on the side. It just depends on what you prefer. I think I'm gonna try, since I have plenty of pieces here, I think I'm going to try and cut this into 3 pieces, the dimensionals, and I will use my small dimensionals. And I'm gonna cut it, so I'm gonna have May the Luck of the Irish, so I'm gonna have May the Luck, and I'm gonna cut right in between the luck and of. There you go. That's what I love about these. They allow you to cut of the Irish, and I'm just going to have go, cut between go and double for you. And I'm going to clip that edge. I'm going to clip that edge. I'm just going to make it a little different, just for fun. And clip that edge, just so that's a little fun. And I'm going to keep that normal. Let's see if I like that though. May. I might not like that as much as I thought I would. The luck of the Irish. Go double for you. And I think it's just kind of a fun little thing like that. Although I don't think I did like that. So I'm going to take Of the Irish Go, and I'm going to cut this one. There. I think I like it better this way. Okay. And so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to use my little dimensionals. So we can put those away. And there's that. I think that one's already off. That one's going off. No. This is what I love. Getting it all over my hands. Yes, you are sticky. Yeah, these are good. Okay. This is double for you. So this must be the, use my scissors so I can, my fat clumsy fingers, May the luck. So I do not like to have things straight, so May the luck. Of the Irish. That one can be straight. Go double for you. Go double for you. How do I want to put that? Like that? Yeah, like that. Go double for you. Maybe I do want that one a little crooked. Yeah, just fun. Just something fun. And you could probably put that a little higher, but it's fine. It's just for fun. Actually, I think I'm gonna do that a little bit like that. And like that a little bit. Just fixing it up just a little bit. Yeah, there you go. There you go, like that better. A little fine adjustment. Sorry for the glitter, or the glare, sorry. All right, so the last thing is to string it. All right, it's done. It's done, your box is done. All right, so the way I do this is I go from the outside. So go from the outside, so I open it all up, and I go each time from the outside. Now, using your pick tool might be helpful also with this, so that you can push it through just a little bit to help you, or not. So you're going to go from the outside in. Making sure you twirl that. It's a little bit tricky, but you can get it. And what I do, since I made sure I had plenty of string, once the end goes in, I clip off a little bit just to make sure it goes easier into the next hole, so I don't have to fuss with it so much. As you see, that was easier. And I'll try this, but if it gives me any trouble, I'll clip it as well. Yeah, it's just easier if you just clip that edge off, make it clean, and go again from the outside. Opa. There you go. There you go. And I started where the clover leaf was because I wanted the bow there. Get those corners in again. Get your string going. Get it exactly where you want it. And then tie your bow. Tie your bow nice and tight. And there you go with that. Once that is done, you clip your ends off for however long you want them. There you go. So that's cute. Now, the sequence. We can put the sequence on. We have all three sides decorated, so that's kind of fun for our box. And we can go ahead and one of the things, if you have these at home, metallic Baker's Twine Sukas combo pack, this was part of the Celebrations catalog. I thought the orange ones could go in the center. I thought that could be cute with the orange in the center. If you don't have that and you want to make this in the future, or you see some other purposes for this, this kind of concept, you can go ahead and purchase the woven thread sequence assortment. I found this assortment to be really, really handy. You will see in this one, that's what I used. All right, in this one, that's what I used. And I used it on the other one as well. And I think that's really, really cute. And so you'll also see that I didn't go and glue that in. I just left that little open and then shoved that in there. Of course, I'm going to put the sequence on, and I'm going to have to glue that sequence in there. So that's going to help me keep that leaf in there. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what the orange might look like. I haven't tested that, so I thought that'd be kind of fun. We know it's orange and green. See how that works? See what you think. Would the orange be cute? Oh, I think the orange would be cute. So I'm going to use that sequence, but again, if you don't have that, don't worry. Go ahead and buy the threads, or maybe you have some other sequence at home that you can use, especially if you want to make it today or tomorrow. I just put it on my silicone mat so that I could put a dab of glue there, then a dab of glue there, and then I'm going to put right in the center that piece, and I'm going to hold it for a second because I really need to make sure it stays there. See, oh, isn't that cute with that little orange there? Isn't that cute? I think that's great. Now I would say, oh yeah, that's enough, but I'm going to use, I'm going to try and get 3 of them. This one's really small. Let me see. Dab a little glue on there. Let's hope for the best. Maybe that's the wrong, no, that's a good side. Let's see how that works. I'm going to kind of fit it underneath. And then, yep. Oops, that didn't work. All right, went off my finger. What I'm going to do is, that's the benefit of this mat. There you go. There you go. There's 2, and of course that lucky number 3 has to be used. yellow. I don't want a yellow. I want an orange. There's an orange. It's my last one. Just a touch of glue. Let's put it up here. I'm going to take that. You can see where the glue is. And I'm going to try and see if I can't do it this way. Good, I did. That sometimes that end gets too sticky, and so you just use your finger and you're better off. There you go. Not always easy. The sequence has been a little bit my nemesis, but I still get it there. There you go. There you go. Oh, I think that's cute. I think that's really cute. So here is our final box. As you can see, our pyramid box, our three-sided box, with the May the Luck of the Irish go double for you. And of course, our little pot of gold and our twine. And this would be a lot of fun if you enjoyed this video or like the idea of this video. Please, on the bottom, click on like. Also, if you are interested in more different kind of things or you like boxes and stuff, I try to change it up, so go ahead and subscribe. Also, go ahead and if you are interested, go to the link under the description and purchase any of these items, or go ahead and if you have some other ideas from this, please, if you're going to make a purchase with Stampin' Up!, use me as your independent demonstrator. I hope you enjoyed this. Happy St. Patty's Day and happy crafting. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.